So yeah, new rule changes this year. NASCAR implemented a couple days ago, actually. So we are pretty much we're on the point on this one.
The first major one, I'll go ahead and get into.
Go ahead.
Going to be the Hail Melon is
Have you ever
canceled? It's
no, I've never, and you
we'll
never see it again.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? NASCAR said that it's a safety concern, which I agree with. I think I brought that up.
When it happened,
that it is, a bit of safety concern. Martinsville, they've got that gate there. Ross said that it fucked them up pretty good, so I think it's the right move. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is the correct thing to do. It's going to suck because, you're not going to have it in the back of your mind anymore. Like, hey, is this going to happen? Are we going to see this? Is somebody going to take that chance? Because I think that's what was intriguing about the Phoenix race at the end is somebody going to do that? Because that race sucked.
Yeah.
But everybody was wondering if Ross was going to do it again, if he was close, or was somebody else going to do it again if they were close, or if it was going to be a position, when would you do it? Now you're not going to have that, which I don't think anybody was going to do it anyway. Just seeing how I think lucky Ross got by not getting hurt or not just destroying his car. I think it just worked out perfectly, and it's going to be unlikely that somebody will be able to replicate it. But just having it in the back of your mind, I think, would make the end of these races a little bit more intriguing. But I think it was the correct move for safety in general.
I understand the rule. The only caveat I have to this rule, you remember Kyle Larson when we were there in Darlington when he just rode the wall going in 3 and 4, Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, but he wasn't 40 mile an hour faster in the field.
I mean,
he was 5 mile an hour faster than Denny Hamlin.
So,
and it didn't
how does NASCAR? It almost did,
but it didn't.
If Denny wouldn't have came up, Kyle Larson might have won that race. But that's my only question. Where's NASCAR how are they gonna judge this? Because you can wall ride tracks way easier, than other tracks. Darlington, you saw Kyle Larson. You've seen other teams. We saw fucking Sheldon Creed try to do it at Darlington last year in the Xfinity race.
Mm-hmm.
Darlington is a very popular track.
It didn't work for him either.
I mean, he was fucking flying though until his momentum slowed down. But I'm just saying, where's that line going to go? Like, yeah, obviously can't, Martinsville can't do it no more. You'll obviously be able to tell. But at those Homestead, Darlington, tracks where you're against the wall almost already. How are you going to judge saying, "Oh, I just got in the wall and"?
Well, I think
I wasn't going to get out of it.
And that's
I was trying to get off of it, but I couldn't. There's some gray area here. Most tracks, I get it, but there's certain tracks, Darlington, Homestead, just a couple off my head. There might be another one I just can't think of right now. There's going to be some gray area to actually what that means is what they're saying in the rule, but you can't wall ride because drivers do all the time at certain tracks.
Well,
so that's my only question.
My response to that is going to be that I think the distinction's going to be
Bristol's another one.
I think the distinction's going to be that you're not allowed to do it at tracks that you would not normally be up there. And that makes the most sense to me, and I could be talking out of my ass right here.
Well, if that's the case, then you can still do this at Homestead, Darlington, or Bristol.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to have a problem with you doing it at Homestead or Darlington or Bristol.
I think they would.
Because you're not going to gain as much as an advantage as you would at a place like Martinsville. Because like I said, he was going 60 miles an hour faster in the field.
That's what I'm saying.
If you do it at Darlington, it's 10, 15 mile an hour. It's not that big of a safety risk as it is at Martinsville because you're going twice as fast in the center corner than anybody else.
Yeah.
And you're not normally up there. I don't think they can call it at Martinsville or at Bristol because you're already up there. Well, some of the people are already up there. And at Darlington, people hit the wall every lap at Darlington, so they're not going to be able to judge that the same way as somebody that rides the wall at Martinsville because you're not going to do that other than the last lap. Because your car is destroyed. If you do it at a place like Darlington.
But Ross did on the last lap.
That's what I'm saying. That's why That's why you're not allowed to do it anymore. Because if you're up there and it's not going to destroy your car and you're not that much faster than everybody, they wouldn't have changed the rule because it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have gained him what it gained him.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
If you do it at Darlington or New Hampshire or not New Hampshire, Darlington or Bristol or Homestead, it's not that.
It's number one. Three of the best tracks in NASCAR, by the way.
It's not a huge safety issue. Number one, and it also isn't a huge advantage to do it because everybody's already up there, so it's not gonna affect the race in some people would say a negative way like it did at Martinsville.
Okay, it's just I'll be interested to see if this situation comes up at a Homestead. If guy on the last lap, he's like quarter of a second behind the leader, and he just wall rides going into 3 and 4. Are they going to penalize him? He passes them all 4 and he wins the race. Do they take that win away from him? Because they said it's a penalty if you do that. So I'll be interested to see what NASCAR does this season. Most of these tracks, I understand. Most of these tracks, it makes sense. It won't work anyways on most of these tracks. I'm just saying the tracks that the drivers are very close to the wall, the speed is up at the top. It'll be very interesting to see what transpires and what NASCAR does if a driver goes for a spot or goes for a win, trying to quote unquote wall ride.